Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ram Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ram Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvacharya Asatori Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gauda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Radha Shama Sundar Ki Jai Gauda Premanande All glories to the assembly devotees All glories to the assembly devotees All glories to the assembly devotees. All glories, Sri Guru and Gorak.
Jato yato yamitato narsimha Pahe narsimha hridaye narsimha Narasimha made Sharanam Prapade Navakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Nalita Hiranyakashipu Kanuvringa Keshavajeta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadreta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. 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 Jaya Narsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Bhaktaraj Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Looks like there is a huge exodus going on here. I don't know why all the adults just vanished out of here. I can understand the children, but I don't know what happened. Well, anyway, is there anyone here for the first time? On behalf of ISKCON founder Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, I would like to invite all of you to ISKCON Naperville. So today's program, we will have our special speaker. The topic of the class is Controlling the Controller. And the class will be given by His Grace Yamuna Jivana Das. And Yamuna Jivana Das has been a practicing Bhakti Yoga practitioner for over 15 years or so, even more. And he has served in leadership capacities both in St. Louis Temple and in Chicago Temple for many years. And so he will be giving today's class here. Please give a warm welcome to His Grace Yamuna Jivana Prabhu. Also, one more thing to say ahead of time is that this is month of Kartik, and following the lecture, we will be lighting the lamp singing the Damodara Ashtakam songs. So all of you, I'm assuming most of you know what month of Damodar is. Krishna is very pleased when we worship him with offering a ghee lamp, and that we will be doing following the lecture. So Yamuna Jivana Prabhu, please.
That's good. Thank you. Can I get a... Thank you so much. That's okay. You know, hopefully with the big temple, we'll have better microphone stands. There we go. What's that? Without the stand? Well, how about we do this? We can push that back a little bit. So it's straight. Yeah. Then, yeah. Yeah, I think we can live with this. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. So usually we are dealing with electronic technological issues. Today was a mechanical issue. The mic stand somehow is not, holding up very well. Please accept my obeisances to all of you. We'll begin so I think no one's here for the first time, is that right? Right? So I'll recite what's known as Mangalacharan Prayers, or prayers to invoke auspiciousness before we begin the talk. And you all can recite with me if you like. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parayjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'm getting older as the years go by, so I can't sit cross-legged that long, so I have to put my knee down. So we still have only up to 6:15, right? Given Damodarashtakam prayers, yes or no? Still 6:15? Really, it's flexible. We'll see about that. If Premananda Mataji is around, I'm sure 6:15 is going to be the cutoff time. So we'll plan in that way. So this Sunday is the first Sunday during the month of Kartik, or the month of Damodara. Anyone not familiar with this month, Damodara month? Just so I have a context. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. So I'll give a little bit of overview of why this month is special, and then we'll talk a little bit about the topic, which is controlling the controller. Okay. So in the Vedic system, months are divided according to lunar periods, right? Just as in the Chinese tradition, also they're divided according to the moon phases. And so there's 12 months in a year, and then every so often you'll have an extra month added every 3 years, and which is known as Purushottam Mas. That's also a very special, auspicious month. This month is considered to be the most auspicious month of the year. Out of the 12 months in the year, 12 lunar months in the year, this is known to be most auspicious. And the 12 months in the year, in the tradition of worshippers of God as a person in Vedic India, each month is represented by one name of God according to a particular form that he might have. So the form that we worship in this month is Lord Damodara, is another name for God, right? So you see we have these markings on our head. It's known as tilak, but we actually apply that marking on 12 places of our body. And each marking that we put on, we recite the name of God. So the 12 months of the year correspond to the 12 names of 12 of the names of God that we can recite. And then this particular month is the month of Damodara. Om Damodaraya Namaha. Where do we put that? In the back. That's the last one, right? Yeah. There you go. So Damodara, and Damodara means Dhamma means rope, or to bind, or to control, kind of. And then Udara means this area of the body, the waist portion of the body. So Damodara is one whose waist is bound. So Krishna's waist is bound, and that's the month of Damodara. But another name for this month is Kartika month, which is a name for Radharani, or the female version of God. So God is both male and female. Some people ask, is God male or female? Well, he's both. Or she's both. And the female version of God is Radharani. And Kartika. Oh, yeah, sure. You want this? What's that? You parked in a... But you control everybody, yeah? I mean, you you're breaking all the rules today. You told me 45 minutes from the time I started. Park in the non-designated area. Okay, so another name for this month is Kartika month, which is another name for Radharani. So this month is both the month of Krishna and the month of Radha. And so we try to honor this month with special devotional activities, special like any activity that's done in this month is multiplied several hundred times, as spoken in the guidebook of how to live spiritual life called the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Okay, so that's a little bit overview of Damodar month or Kartik month that we're currently celebrating, and this is the first Sunday. What I understand is my talk today is an introduction that's going to cover chapter 9 of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, and then next Sunday will be chapter 10 of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. But really, the pastime that is the story of Krishna being bound in his waist spans from chapter 8 through 11. We're just going to talk about 9 and 10, which is the middle two chapters. Okay, so back to the topic of controlling the controller. Have you all noticed how we like to control? You're laughing. Why? What was funny? Okay. It's actually quite a serious matter. In the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna explains, he says, the knowledge I'm going to explain to you is really powerful, fantastic knowledge, knowing which there's nothing remain to be known. And he introduces the topic of who are we? Who am I? I don't know about any of you, but I remember when I was about 8-10 years old, staring in the mirror, looking at my eyes and thinking, who are you? Any of you had that experience? Stare at yourself and like, really, who are you? I had a contemplation, maybe I'm God. I had that thought. And then I decided, no, that's not true, because if I was God, I'd know it. I wouldn't have a doubt that I was God. So, this who are we? So Krishna explains in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. If you know the verse, you can recite it with me. He says, Apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedham dharyate jagat. So Krishna says, he first talks about there's a material universe and there's all the material elements that make up this universe. There's 8 material elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Mind, intelligence, and false ego, which means none of that is who we are. But who we are is apareyam. There's another spiritual force, spiritual entity, and it's a higher energy of God that's animating this entire universe. And that higher energy, Krishna says, dharyate jagat. These guys like to control. Dharyate means to try to exploit. And don't we try to control? What do we try to control? We try to control our fate. We try to control our family members, our spouses, our children. We try to control our parents sometimes, especially when they grow older. We try to control our careers, right? And nowadays, trying to control the environment, try to control other species. This constant struggle of controlling and possessing and owning and exploiting and enjoying. I work for a company that has a side business. We talk about healthy air and trying to bring in healthy air to every home. At the same time, there's a side business that creates healthy air for what? For what they called controlled environmental agriculture. So even agriculture they try to control. where they'll adjust the humidity levels, they'll adjust the temperature levels, they'll adjust the carbon dioxide levels, etc., for the purpose of being able to grow plants as if they were outside. And what generally would take 6 to 8 months to grow, they complete in about 3 months. Why would you do that? CEA industry, it's called, Controlled Environment Agriculture. So they can grow more marijuana. That's what it is. The more marijuana you can push out, the more money you make. One of those rooms they have, $250,000 every 2 weeks. CEA, Controlled Environment. People like to control, that's my point. Yet, Krishna says, so these people like to control. Idam dharete jagat. They try to make this theirs. Yet, we're so uncontrolled, aren't we? How many of us can say we can control our own anger? Huh? Or control depression or mental health? Or control the environment? I mean, it's going out of whack, isn't it? Climate change, it's all over the news nowadays. We can control extinct species. Species are going extinct, practically every day. Economic problems. We try to, when the pandemic hit, we couldn't control the pandemic. Nobody understands. Even today, 2 years we've been into the pandemic, and every time I read the news, they try to explain these numbers and they can't explain it. Why is it that all of a sudden this Delta variant is going up so high, even in Britain where many people are vaccinated, Israel, Russia, etc., etc. I mean, there isn't a very sure short answer. People can't understand it. They say we are like in the Stone Ages when it comes to understanding epidemics. Right? So we like to control, but the fact of the matter is we're not in control. Certainly not of the outside world, and more so not of our inside world. And they're related. So then what's the story? So what's really happening? In the Bhagavatam, there's a section in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which, by the way, for those who may not know, it's like a postgraduate study of the Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavatam, first canto, 13th chapter, there's a description of a king by the name Yudhishthira. And he was taking care of a blind uncle and his wife Gandhari. So Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. And they just disappeared overnight because they were pushed out to go and take care of their own inner spiritual lives instead of being supported by and dependent on King Yudhishthira. So they left. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, Yudhishthira, the king, wakes up the next morning and goes, where did my blind uncle go? Where did my aunt go? He was so disturbed. And Narada, a great sage, comes to him and says, don't waste your time lamenting like this, because in reality, we think we're taking care of other people. But in reality, no one is taking care of anyone. In fact, everyone is taken care of by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says that Ishvara Vasham, everyone is controlled. Vasham is the word I want to focus on today. It's a Sanskrit word, means to be controlled. He says, Ishvara Vasham, everyone is controlled by God. And just as a kid plays with toys, and he separates toys out and he brings toys together. If you've seen girls, let's say they're playing with some dolls, Barbie on this side, and is it Ken? Yeah, Ken's on the other side. Barbie and Ken come together, and Barbie goes, and Ken goes with someone else, and then, so you can see kids playing with dolls like that. The Supreme is playing with us, where we come together for some time, and then time separates us. Or like seaweeds in an ocean. You see seaweeds come together, they get entangled, they get really entangled, they really don't like each other, and then they get disentangled over time. The same force of waves that bring them together, the same force that separates them out. So Narada tells Yudhishthira, don't worry so much that they've left. You focus on what's your duty and what's important to you in your life. You see? So actually, we're not in control. There's another section I've been reading in 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Really nice, very informative, very instructive. Has anyone felt like you've gone through a tough time in your life and someone that you hoped would reach out to you did not reach out to you and care for you? Anyone go through that experience? Yeah? So, in the Bhagavatam, some of devotees may remember in the Kurukshetra scene when the solar eclipse took place, a number of the devotees, including Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and others, all came to Kurukshetra to honor this very auspicious time of the solar eclipse. During that time, Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, she came to her brother Vasudeva and said, I went through a very hard time and nobody remembered me. And I feel very unfortunate. And it is not, then she was actually quite empathic. She didn't blame him, which is nice. She didn't say, you didn't do your part. She just said, I understand that if near and dear ones don't reach out to us in times of need, then it's our own fault, it's our own karma, it's our own issue that we are dealing with. It's not somebody else's problem. That's how she said. Can you imagine? She's telling her brother. And Vasudev looked at her and said, please don't be angry with us. And we are all, and he uses the same word again, Vasham. We are all controlled by the Lord. And even though we would have liked to reach out to you, but you know what happened? We were just wired, we were distressed because of Kamsa, that evil Kamsa was really tormenting us. So we had to go, hidden, we got scattered. All of our family got scattered, but we all came back together finally. Now we're at peace in Dwarka. But please don't blame us. We're under control of the Supreme Lord. So, we're under control. That's the point. Now, where are we headed here with the topic controlling the controller? So those who are new, there's a story, as you see in the picture there. On the left side is a lady, on the right side is baby Krishna. And you can see the lady is binding baby Krishna to a mortar, which is generally used for grinding spices. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You just go to Indian store and grab some spices off the shelf. But in those days, if you really want good quality spices, you do it yourself. You just grind them at home. So that was what that little, looks like a drum almost, was used for. So I'm going to talk about that story. In the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, how Krishna, we're just talking about how God controls everyone, how God himself is being controlled. Says, here's your secret. If you want to control God, this is the secret. And the secret is, you got to love him with all your heart. And you have to completely give up any desire to control, to be able to control. So it's a little tough. So once upon a time, in a land far, far away from here, Krishna was the Supreme, had appeared, and I'm not going to go into the entire reason of why he appeared, but he appeared in the land of Vrindavan in India. He appeared as if he was a human being. And he had as his parents, mother and father, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata, Mother Yashoda, as you see in that picture there. And they had a very special relationship. In the previous chapter, what happens is that Krishna was accused of eating dirt. And like every good mother, she said, "Why are you eating dirt?" He said, "I didn't eat any dirt." And she said, "Okay, open your mouth. I want to see. Prove it." So he opens his mouth, and she sees the entire cosmic creation in his mouth. She was blown away. She didn't know what was, that whole section is very intricate and very deep, very mysterious. I don't have the wherewithal to explain what happened, but she is blown away and thinks, "Oh my God, this person who I'm thinking is my son is the supreme." He's like that all-pervasive, grandiose, all-powerful, supreme. He's God. And then, have you seen Men in Black? You see, there's a little thing that they point at you, and all of a sudden you forget everything. Yeah, so she had one of that happen to her. And she forgot that what she had just seen, and she went back to putting Krishna back on her lap and saying, "Oh, my little son," and offering her love as a mother. And the person who's hearing the story, Maharaj Pariksha, he says, "Whoa, what happened? How is it that you become so wonderful, so great that you can have this very intimate relationship with God, with Krishna?" Because if you see prior in the Bhagavatam, in the story of God and His various incarnations and loving relationships, the relationship is not this intimate. The relationship is one of, for example, in Prahlad Maharaj, a very famous story, where he was offering prayers to Narasimha, a powerful form of the Lord in a half-man, half-lion incarnation. Prahlad looks at him and he says, I'm totally amazed by you, and how my father, who was so great, my father would just raise his eyebrow and the demigods would get scared. But then you, just like that, destroyed him. So I don't want what my father got. What my father had was power and fame and good sense gratification opportunities. I don't want what he got. I just want to be near your devotees. So he was looking to God with this reverence, with this amazement, with this awe. You are great. However, Mother Yashoda didn't look at Krishna as "you are great." His greatness didn't amplify her love. What amplified her love was who he was as a person. So her ability to control Krishna was based upon this fact that her appreciation for Krishna was for who he was as a person, or who he is as a person, not so much his position. Like a lot of people love Trump. I know it's a terrible way to, terrible analogy, but a lot of people love Trump, but they loved him because he had a position at the time. And then as soon as he lost his position, how many people are clamoring for Trump now? A lot less, right? But if they loved him for a person, it would be different. See, the quality of love based on who the person is as opposed to their position really matters. And in Mother Yashoda's case, it didn't matter that Krishna was God. In fact, she didn't want to know that he was God. For her, who he was everything that enriched her affection for him. That kind of love is called the spontaneous love of the residents of Vrindavan. That Vraja Bhakti is what really Krishna says, Krishna allows for such persons to control him because their love is so pure. So, Maharaj Parikshit says, how did she get to be so close to Krishna. And Shukadeva Goswami gives a story, which I won't get into, of Drona and Dhara and how they manifested in Nanda Yashoda. Maharsh Parikshit quizzically is looking at Shukadeva Goswami and says, I don't buy that. And then Shukadeva Goswami now tells this story to explain how is it that Yashoda Mata gets this opportunity to be so intimate with Krishna. So the pastime begins with Mother Yashoda. It's on Deepavali day, by the way. Deepavali is coming sometime soon, right? November something? 6th. It's that row of lights where they offer to Lord Ram as when he had come back from killing of Ravana. So, Deepavali day, all the maid servants of Mother Yashoda had gone to do their thing. Mother Yashoda then decides to personally churn butter because she was hearing that Krishna was stealing butter from the neighbors and, what a naughty kid. I have a naughty kid, but I can't imagine what it would be like to have Krishna. Really naughty kid. I mean, just, defame his parents. Totally embarrassing. Imagine some neighbor come to you and say, your kid's stealing from my house, and he's stealing the very thing you have in abundance in your own house, right? So she was wanting to personally make yogurt and butter for Krishna so that he wouldn't have to go steal it from somebody else. So she was churning the churning rod. She got the milk from the finest cows. Apparently there were 7 or 8 cows of the entire flock of cows that were very picky about their rice. They were connoisseurs of, not rice, the grass. They were connoisseurs of grass, just like how some people are connoisseurs of wine, right? So some cows, they knew which grass to pick, and she would take the milk of certain cows who were very picky and take that milk and mix it together and make a great blend. And then she would use that milk to churn and make butter and yogurt. So she was very happily making butter and yogurt, churning with the churning rod. And baby Krishna was in the neighboring room sleeping. So while she was doing this, she had made up poetry of Krishna. And she was just singing the poetry of Krishna's pastimes. The acharyas explained that in yesteryears, if you wanted to remember something, if you wanted to commit it to memory, you would create a poem of it, and therefore you commit it to memory. That's why for many devotees, they like to sing songs of the acharyas, or they like to recite verses, because the verses are poetry, So she was just singing poetry of Krishna and just having a jolly good time. Her bangles are shaking, her earrings are shaking. She's perspiring, churning the churning rod for Krishna. And all of a sudden, Krishna comes out of his room and tugs on her sari and says, I want milk. Give me milk. He actually stops her from churning the churning rod. And she's like, oh, how cute. This is so wonderful. My son wants milk. And he wanted breast milk. So she places him on his lap, and they're staring at each other, eye to eye. She's looking at his eyes, and her love for him increases. He's looking at her eyes, and his love for her increases. And then she looking back in his eyes of how his love is increasing, her love is increasing, like that, and she's feeding him breast milk. And then she realizes, uh-oh, I left the milk boiling. I need to take care of it. So she drops Krishna down and when goes to take care of the milk. Krishna doesn't like that. Don't stop Krishna from enjoying. It's not a good deal. He got really upset. He quietly, but with anger, it's kind of like passive aggressive. He took a stone and he quietly smashed a pot of yogurt so his mother would not hear, and gleefully took some of that yogurt and he scurried into the storeroom leaving a footprint of butter because he had stepped on it, went into the storeroom, and there in the storeroom, he found more butter, more yogurt, and he thoroughly enjoyed it himself, and he fed it to the monkeys. So he was feeding the yogurt to the monkeys and the butter to the monkeys. His mother comes back, and she sees he's not there. And she sees the yogurt pot broken. So she does a little Sherlock Holmes investigation and figures out that, oh, it must be Krishna. Who else? The naughty guy is at it again. So she quietly runs into the storeroom to see, following the path that he had created with the buttermilk footprints. And she started to walk into the storeroom, and there she sees Krishna giving out butter very sheepishly, knowing that he's doing something naughty, to the monkeys. So he's looking at her, and so she doesn't look at her. She's looking at him, and then she takes a stick with her because she wants to chastise him. So she's gently, softly going towards him, but he sees her. He sees her. He's sitting on that mortar, that grinding spice apparatus. He's sitting cross-legged and doing all this feeding. He jumps off out of fright and starts running away from her. So Mother Yashoda says, I'm coming after you. And he comes, she starts running after him. The Bhagavatam says, Krishna is God. And many yogis, many great saints, many philosophers are attempting to reach this, what is beyond the manifest universe to the unmanifest Supreme and His abode. They're trying to reach that, and they can't. With their mental activity, they cannot. Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso munipungavanam. That even if you use your mind, chasing with the speed of light, trying to catch that which is beyond this universe, you can't. So Krishna is not capturable, but Mother Yashoda attempts to capture. Later in the Bhagavatam, another chase scene comes. And these chase scenes are kind of fun. They remind me of Tom and Jerry. Have you seen Tom and Jerry? Jerry's running and Tom's running after him. And it doesn't matter what Tom does, he can never catch Jerry. Right? Jerry is just such a amazingly smart cookie. Similarly, Krishna, well, not exactly Jerry, but Krishna later in the 49th chapter, 50th chapter of the Bhagavatam, 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, he's running, and he's got Kalyana running after him. So Krishna does this Jerry thing. He allows Kalyana to come next to him, and then he thinks he's going to catch him, and then Krishna speeds up like that. So Kalyana can never catch Krishna. But Mother Yashoda, she's attempting to catch Krishna. And she starts to slow down because she's, heavy. Bhagavatam says she's heavy breast milk, so she's heavy chested. She's got very thin hips. She's sweating. She's perspiring. For her, it's getting difficult. She's slowing down. But Krishna allows her to catch him. And then our great saints say this is amazing pastime because Krishna never allows anyone to catch him, but he allows his mother to catch him, and that for sure is her love. And while she's running, the flowers from her hair fall. One Acharya, Jiva Goswami, explained the flowers, because in the spiritual world everything is conscious, the flowers on her hair say, you know what, we're probably weighing her down and slowing her speed. Let's jump off so that she can get to Krishna. So these are various intricacies of these pastimes. So Mother Yashoda catches Krishna. So Krishna now, seeing Mother Yashoda having caught him, becomes even more afraid. The Bhagavatam says, this person who is feared by fear personified, he is feared by time, the energy of time, which is under Krishna's control. Fears him. Death fears him. And he's feeling fearful. It's a mystery. It's a complete, how do you make sense of this stuff? It's very, very difficult to understand these pastimes of Krishna. And so he's scared. He doesn't know what to do. In his fear, he says, yeah, I did it. I broke the pot. So Mother Yashoda says, okay. And then so he's crying, and she's holding his right hand, and so with his left hand, he's rubbing his eyes. He's got tears in his eyes, and he's got black mascara around his eyes. So all of that mascara is all over his face. And we're going to soon be singing Damodarashtakam, where the song is describing this scene where Krishna is crying, God is crying, and we're singing about God crying. Mother Yashoda starts to chastise Krishna. Great devotees of the Lord, they all praise God, right? They say, praise the Lord. Here she's being chastised. I mean, what's going on? It's like complete opposite. But it's an exhibition of her love. So now she tries to bind him, and she wants to bind him not because she wants to chastise him. She first of all throws away the stick because she can see Krishna is getting really scared. So she throws away the stick, and she wants to bind him in thinking that, if I just let him be, he's apologized and he admits his wrong, but if I just let him be, he might get upset at me for having caught him and run away from the house. So let me stop that. So she said, let me bind him. So she tries to find some rope and to bind Krishna. Interestingly enough, Krishna is a little baby. His waist is only this small. She gets some rope to try to bind him. It doesn't work. It's only 2 fingers too short. Like this much width. It's short. It doesn't work. So she says, no problem. I'm going to go get more rope. She goes to get more rope, tries to bind him again, and guess what? It's again 2 fingers too short. The Bhagavatam says, here you are, you're taking someone who doesn't have an inside, doesn't have an outside, who's everywhere, who's all pervasive, and you're trying to take this person and bind him with rope, an all pervasive being? How does it work? It's not going to work. So every time she brings more rope, 2 fingers too short. Brings more rope, she brings 150 feet of rope. And it's still 2 fingers too short. And her friends are looking at her and saying, what are you doing? They're laughing at her. And she's laughing at herself. She doesn't know what's going on. It's all this mystery of Krishna. And, even though she's sweating, she wants to do her motherly duty. And she can't get Krishna to be bound. She's frustrated, yet she's smiling. And her friends say, give it up. It's not going to happen. 150 feet of rope. How much more rope are you going to get? She says, no, I'm going to keep doing parishrama, this intense endeavor to bring Krishna in her life or within the chamber of her heart. She wants to be connected with Krishna in service. And this intensity of endeavor is what Krishna sees, and then he flips his mood. He now allows himself to be bound. So it's the technical terms. Initially, he had a Satya Sankalpa Shakti, his intense desire. There's no way I'm going to be bound. Me? I'm Krishna. Why would I be bound? And then his Vibhuti Shakti. His Vibhuti, his opulences, he could not be bound. Doesn't matter how much rope he got. And secondly, every time she tried to bring more rope, it was always 2 fingers too short. And why 2 fingers? Because one is explaining parishrama or effort of the devotee, and the second is Krishna Kripa or Krishna's mercy. So Krishna saw that effort that she was putting in, and then Krishna said, fine. Krishna Kripa Shakti took over, and he allowed himself to be bound. Mother Yashoda was finally satisfied. She went inside, started to do her thing, and then Krishna saw in the distance two Arjun trees. Arjun is a type of a tree, and he knew that these trees were actually great demigods in their previous life. He wanted to pull them down and sort of liberate them. So that's for next week. That's coming attraction. But what Krishna was showing through this pastime is who can control the controller. Is someone. So actually, the Shukadeva Goswami, the one who's writing this pastime, he steps back and he contemplates what's just happened, and he says, I'll read the verse, it's very nice. He says, Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhritya vashyataha. The same, remember that word vasham I was talking about? Control. Krishna's name is Bhritya Vashyataha, meaning he is controlled by his Bhritya or his servants. This word is used twice in the early part of the 10th canto. Bhritya Vashyata. Krishna is just controlled by his servants. Svavashenapi Krishnena yasyedam seshwaram vashe. So the translation is, this entire universe with its great exalted demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra is under the control of the Supreme Personality Godhead, yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees, and this was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. Point being, love for the Lord is a takeaway. And this love is what can control. Or actually, we don't necessarily want to control Krishna, but we want to have this loving relationship with Krishna, this intimacy with Krishna. So I know my time is up. Can we have a couple of minutes for questions? Or you want to end here? Okay. Sure. Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you all very much for your kind attention and for being here when the rain was really terrible. That's very. I'm admiring how much, how much parishrama, effort you all have put in to be here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Yamuna Jivana Prabhu. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Yamuna Jivana Prabhu. Please give a big hand. Make the announcements very quick. Today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Shailesh Madhi, seeking devotees' blessings for the onward journey of his grandmother, Dhanalakshmi. Is Shailesh Madhi Prabhu here today? No, okay. Dev Iyer, is he here? Yes, Dev Prabhu. Dev Iyer Prabhu had been sponsoring Sunday feast, offering prayers for his son Adit for a few years now. And today is Adit's birthday. So we request you all to join me in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and offer prayers for Adit, because it's very, very specially, his father has been praying for him, and your prayers matters a lot in this month of Kartik. So please chant after me, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dev Prabhu, can you please come and receive one of the, or he's giving, I think. Also, Charan Tulasi is there in there, special. Thank you. And I request all of you to offer your prayers for the Bangladesh devotees and Bangladesh minorities who are suffering a lot. And your prayers matters a lot for all of them. So please continue praying for them. Month of Kartik has started. We will be having Damodara Ashtagam now. And since the weather has changed and we have only limited space downstairs, we don't want to crowd everybody there. So starting from this week, the prasadam is packed to go boxes. So please take that and you can go back home without assembling here, because this is to help you, to get out of this overcrowded environment. And I hope you all appreciate that very much. Anything else, Shyam Prabhu? Can you
Hare Krishna. So flyers for Diwali is coming on website. So please watch for that. So this is the first time we are doing Diwali, separate celebration, as well as we were doing the Govardhan Puja. So for Govardhan Puja, we like last Sunday we requested everyone to sign up for bringing the prasadam. This is the once in a year we allow people to bring food or prasadam cooked at your home, and so that we can serve to Lord Govardhan. So please sign up if you have not done it, and otherwise we will start our Damodara ISKCON prayers. So please wait and line up for the arati.
You want a copy? Oh, no. Do you want to read? No, you say. Okay. This thing is not holding good, Namamishvaram Sachitanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Byoyolu Kala Davamanam Param Nistamatya Tato Drutya Gopya Rudantamo Nitrag Yugma Mijantam Karambo Jagyumena Satankanitram. O swastikam patririka kakanta Aitagrivam damodaram bhakti badam Itik Sriksalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajatam Akyapayantam Ye Sita Jesu Bhakti Tiratyam Rakri Bhagavata Param Deva Moksham Namoksham Varindram Nachayam Varniham Vari Sarapiha Sita Piva Punatha Kupala Balam Sarami Manasya Savrisam Kimatye Idam te mokambo jaganyantanile Ritam kunala snigarachas chagopya Mostom vitam bimbarachaptarame Manasya viristam alam laksilabe Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabhimatmyam Ripadresti Vrisyati Dinambatano Grihani Samamajna Medi Aksidrisya Kuveratma Jobada Mojevayadvat Vaya Mochato Bhakti Bhajo Kritucha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakami Prayacha Namo Sigraho Mestu Damodareha. Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Damne Twadi Yodaratyata Vishvasya Damne. Namo Radhikaya Tvaidiyai Priyayai Namo Deva Damoda Bhakti Guryam. Namo Antalilaya Namo Radhikaya Priyai Priyai Namo Anantalilaya Devyaya Tubhyam. Namo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Shama Sundara Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura You're going to set up there, right? Yeah, yes. Hare Krishna. So anybody have the forms? You could try to read the translation. So I'll start from the top. Found that in the Padma Purana, of Krishna Dvaipanya Vyas, spoken by Satyavraja Muni in conversation with Narad Muni. In the month of Hare Krishna, can we save the talking for outside the temple, please? And listen, if you have the thing, we could read the translation. In the month, to the Supreme Lord, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 1 second. We're just going to read the translation of Damodarashtakam. And then if you're talking, you can go outside the temple room. Thank you. Just read.
Hare Krishna. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose sharp-shaped earring are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula. Due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that this mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was hanging from the swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda. But who has been caught from behind by fear of to run after him with great speed to that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in his knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence, that he is only conquered by the devotees whose pure love is imbibed by the intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you're able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon, which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bala Gopala in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifested in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Nanta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor, ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes.
O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Elder Kuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you, in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation.
O Damodar, I first offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer my obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Shri Radha Damodar ki.
I do something like this, you know. I don't know, Vamsi Dariana was what's the title? Remember, I'm saying I'm going to get a screwdriver. Vitamin 7, okay?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Whoa. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
You want to keep going? I'll try it.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
The best parties happen in the night.
You're talking about these rock.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.